Hello, boys and girls. I guess you already know what we're talking about today. There's no mystery there. I am in this library here. There are some books flying by. I think I better hide. Let me get my invisibility cloak. There we go. Now they won't find me. Very good. Let's go on then and talk a little bit about Harry Potter. I guess no one knew that was going to happen, huh? So, what are we talking about exactly when we talk about Harry Potter? We'll see words in action, the books, and we'll watch something. And then we'll talk a little bit about the franchise. And now for some words in action. A novel. A novel is a book. Ooh, look at that. It's my hand. Flying hand. Ooh. So a novel is a book. Grossing means to earn money. So when something earns money, it grosses money. Madness means craziness. Gender neutral is something that is not male nor female. It doesn't have a gender. Pen name is the name that some authors use when they write books so that people don't know their real names. And then we have a claim, which is when people like something. When people like something, it means it has a claim. And to achieve means to reach something, to get to your objective. That is achieve. All right, let's begin. Let's go on to the books. Let's talk a little bit about the books. So the Harry Potter books, there's a series of British novels, so a series of British books. They were released in England, for those who do not know. They were written by J.K. Rowling. And it's the 10th highest grossing media franchise. That means it is the franchise that has earned the most money, but it's only the 10th. It's still a very big achievement to be the 10th highest grossing media franchise. That's a lot of money. And it's also the best selling book series in history with 500 million copies sold worldwide. That is a lot. Now, the books have many genres. They have a little bit of fantasy. They have a little bit of drama. They talk about a coming of age story. And they also are by a British type of story called British school story, which is a very famous kind of story that has supernatural elements that deal with sometimes magic, sometimes horror, and it's a very well-established British type of story. So let's talk a little bit about this lady over there. Her name is J.K. Rowling, and she got rejected 8 times. People didn't want to publish her book. Why didn't they want to publish her book? It's a good series of books. Well, it was new. It was a book about kids who are witches and who are wizards. So naturally, people didn't really trust in it. They thought it was going to be something demonic. It wasn't going to be famous. Were they wrong? She then went on to publish the first book, and she was asked to use a gender-neutral pen name because publishers didn't really think that boys would want to read a book written by a woman. So they wanted her to change her pen name. So she used J from her name, K from her mother's name, and Rowling is just her last name. And then she went on to release the first book in 1997. And the books were translated into into 80 languages. If you don't think that's a lot, that's a lot. Not a lot of books have that kind of reach. Moving on, according to Rowling, the main themes of the books are death. She wanted to talk a little bit about death, help kids understand death a little bit. And prejudice as well. We see a lot of that with Hermione and the whole mudblood thing. Corruption by power, right? When you have a lot of power, it tends to corrupt you. And also madness, so craziness. She wanted to approach madness. Then we have some curiosities here. Did you know that the first book, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, it was renamed in the US to Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone? Mostly because the publishers didn't think Americans would understand what philosopher meant. They wouldn't associate it with magic. So they thought, let's just change it. Let's just change the name because Americans they are not that smart. Pretty much, yes. So as you can see here, the name of the movie is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Philosopher's Stone is, well, the rest of the world. And also, did you know that the last book, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, was published on the 1st of July 2007, and it sold 11 million copies in its first 24 hours. That is a lot. No other book has sold that much. Do you think you could come up with a series, a world like the one J.K. Rowling created? Let's take a look at her notes, shall we? I have something for you guys. This is going to be a little harder than last time, so let's pay close attention. And if you have difficulties, I'll just provide the link for the original video, or you can see it with subtitles. Okay? Let's take a look here.
It was 5 years from the train journey where I had the original idea to finishing the book. And during those 5 years, this mass of material was generated, some of which will never find its way into the book, will never need to be in the books. It's just stuff I need to know for my own pleasure, partly for my own pleasure and partly because I like reading a book where I have the sense that the author knows everything. They might not be telling me everything, but you have that confidence that the author really knows everything. Okay, so this is, to the untrained eye, might look like a pile of waste paper, but this is 10 years' work. As you can see, I file meticulously, and I know where every single piece of paper is. I've dragged out a few bits and pieces. So this is the name of everyone in Harry's year. And all these little symbols mean what house they're in, how magical they are, what their parentage is, because I needed this later for the Death Eaters and so on, and the various allegiances that would be set up within the school. I like this. This was 98, and this was me trying to find words for the Dementors, so I have all these Latin words written all over the inside of my diary. I used to cover just about anything with writing, as you can see. This is my application for housing benefit in 28 Gardeners Crescent, which is where the first place I lived, obviously, when I was in Edinburgh. Treated with a complete lack of respect by me. Discarded first chapters of book 1. I reckon I must have got through 15 different alternative chapters of book 1. The reasons for which I discarded each of them were they all gave too much away. And in fact, if you put all those discarded first chapters together, almost the whole plot is explained. This is an old notebook in which I worked out, and again, I don't want you to come too close on this. That is the history of the Death Eaters. Where's my Portuguese diary gone? There it is. So this is a Portuguese diary, as you can see. Not filled in.
Diary.
Because I've never filled in a diary in my life. But it had paper in it to write on, so we have another draft, book 1, chapter 1. I drew a lot of pictures. I drew them for no one but me. I just wanted to know what the characters looked like. So anyway, that was Argus Filch. No prizes. Snape, obviously. That is Harry arriving in Privet Drive with Professor McGonagall and Hagrid and Dumbledore.
Wow.
That was a Gringotts cart. Mirror of Erised. That's the Weasleys. Professor Sprout. I like this one. I thought I'd lost this picture, actually, because I was going to show it to Chris Columbus. And true to form, I only found it when it was no use, and they'd already filmed that bit anyway. But this is how the entrance to Diagon Alley works in my imagination. So Chris is going to murder me when he finds out I had a blueprint all along, and he was asking me how it worked. But it was buried in books.
Welcome, Harry, to Diagon Alley.
It felt as though I was carving a book out of this mass of notes, and that's in effect what I did. It was a question of condensing and editing and sculpting a book out of this mass of stuff that I had on Harry. And I thought that if it got published, I really thought it's a book for obsessives. It's a book for the kind of people who enjoy every little tiny detail about the world, because I have every little tiny detail about the world.
Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. First-year students will require 1. 3 sets of plain work robes. 2. 1 plain pointed hat, black, for day wear. 3. 1 pair of protective gloves, dragon hide or similar. 4. 1 winter cloak, black, silver fastenings. Set books. The Standard Book of Spells by Miranda Goshawk. A History of Magic by Bathilda Bagshot. Magical Theory by Adalbert Waffling. A Beginner's Guide to Transfiguration by Emmerich Switch. 1000 Magical Herbs and Fungi by Philida Spore. Magical Drafts and Potions by Arsenius Jigger. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them by Newt Scamander. The Dark Forces, A Guide to Self-Protection by Quentin Trimble. Other equipment. 1 wand, 1 cauldron, pewter, standard size 2, 1 set glass or crystal phials, 1 telescope, 1 set brass scales. Students may also bring an owl, or a cat, or a toad.
As J.K. Rowling continued to build Harry's world,
then it goes on. This is a piece of a documentary. I can show you guys a whole video later. Just a little quick tidbits about the franchise. As you all know, the movies helped the franchise achieve pop culture status. That means that it became really, really famous, and everyone talks about it and references it in conversations. And the movies were released to universal acclaim, right? Everybody wanted to see the movies. And then what came after? other media follow. Pottermore, which is the website where you can go to check what house you are in and what wand you have and all of that stuff. You can find out where you would fit into the Harry Potter universe. The World of Magic, which is a series of articles on Pottermore and a wiki and all other stuff where you can find out more about the world that J.K. created. There's also the prequel movies, like the one up here, where you can see the story that happened before the original 7 books. And then you have the stage productions or the theater plays, right? This is the plays for theater that I think the one that was released is called Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, which is the story of the son of Harry going to Hogwarts. And just a little quick talk time. Have you guys ever read the Harry Potter books? Did you watch the films? And do you know what Hogwarts house you fit in? I will send these and other questions in the activity for your homework, and you can find out what house you're in, and you can tell me in the group. Okay, this is going to be it for today. I will see you guys next time. But first, let's review real quick. Today we saw words in action, Harry Potter the books, the magical watching, and Harry Potter the franchise. Just stay tuned, guys, for the instructions from Saya. Remember to do the homework. Please don't get it late because it counts as attendance, and I will be correcting the previous homework with you guys as soon as you watch this. This is the end. And I will see you guys next time. Now, if you excuse me, I will go back to read some of these fine books, but I think I'll just drop the cloak. Yeah. I think for the books, I don't need to be invisible. I'll see you guys next time. And actually, you know what? This is Mr. Vítor signing out. Bye-bye.